The FrostCast. It's back with your boy, the Frostfather, Aaron Sanders. And now my go-home topic for the weekend. My predictions for the WWE pay-per-view, No Mercy. Let's just go down with what I think is going to go down. The first match on the card I'm going to talk about is Neville versus Enzo Amore, and this is for the Cruiserweight Championship, Neville being the defending champion. And considering how Enzo's getting a lot of heat backstage, and considering that he downgraded from Monday Night Raw to 205 Live, which is the Cruiserweight division, it's clearly that the writing is on the wall for him, and this could be his last chance of stardom before he gets released. Now, before he got dropped to 205, he was supposed to be feuding with his tag team partner after all these years, Big Cass. But they split, and Big Cass injured his leg, so he's on the sidelines for a little bit. So I don't see anything going on with Mr. Enzo Amore. Neville's going to defend his championship. I like his style. I like his cruiserweight abilities. He doesn't even play like a cruiserweight at all, but his high-flying, spectacular moves just lets him go one way and all the way to outer space. So Neville's going to win the Cruiserweight Championship. It's going to be a really short match, so Enzo, this is the end. You fought a good fight, but it's not your time in the WWE. Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. You got Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, versus the Demon King Finn Balor, or as I call him, Finn Cakes, to the chagrin of one of my homeboys. This is a demon versus, I guess, rural god match. Finn Balor is the man of high flying capabilities, and Bray Wyatt, he deems himself as the god, trying to shed people and guide them to the light to unleash their demons and everything else. But the way Finn Balor's been presenting himself in the promos lately, he shows that he has the upper hand. But Bray Wyatt, he has been a strong character in the WWE for the last few years, and he impressed me in his first few years, but now, without a championship run in his hands, he now has to partake in a different challenge, and that's going up against one Finn Balor. It's going to be a tough match to see, but it's going to be interesting as well. Hopefully it doesn't get bland, because a lot of people are buying into that hype, but it isn't among one of my top matches of the evening. So therefore, I'm going to say, to ensure that he gets another push in the world title or any other championships, I'm going to put my money on Finn Balor. Now, the match that everyone, or some people, have been waiting for, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. You got a guy that basically needs a lot of work on his mic skills, and John Cena. Of course, everybody knows who he is, so I'll go right down to the chase. John Cena is basically trying to house sit on Roman Reigns, trying to teach him the ways of the world so he could be the next face of the WWE. But before you become the face of the WWE, you must have a mentor to help you along the way, and I think John Cena is going to try to move out the way and make sure Roman Reigns gets his fair share. A lot of people got a lot of hatred towards Roman Reigns, and I don't blame them. Vince McMahon tried to push him up. His mic skills are terrible, like I alluded to before, but still, he's got that powerhouse arsenal into him. And John Cena, I think it's time for him to move aside and give Roman Reigns the chance. So, funny enough, I see Roman Reigns taking the ball and going home with it. For the Tag Team Championships, the Raw Tag Team Championships, rather, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, the defending champions, versus the former champions, Sheamus and Cesaro. Now, I love the tag team stylings of Sheamus and Cesaro. I was a little bit hasty about it at the beginning, but seeing how they cooperate together, considering where they started with each other, it's now showing that they have the makings of a good tag team for at least 2 years. Cesaro, he got everything that a Swiss Army knife has. He got the potential. He got the muscle. He got all those abilities. And he could fly in midair too. Sheamus, he's a powerhouse, an Irish powerhouse fella that can knock you down when you least expect it. Then you go over to the former members of the Shield, Ambrose and Rollins. Everybody was expecting them to reunite, and they got it. So I don't know if it's a nostalgia factor going into this, but they are the tag team champions, and I see this going about 10-15 minutes before they decide a winner. But if I have to play my cards on this one, I choose Ambrose and Rollins to hold the tag team titles for at least a little bit longer. I'll give them at least till the end of November before they drop the tag team titles. So that's my prediction. What I think is going to be a sleeper match, The Miz and Jason Jordan for the Intercontinental Championship. Miz is the defending Intercontinental Champion. He is married to Maurice, who is his manager, but will not be attending No Mercy because those two are expecting a kid within the next few months. So congratulations to Maurice. It's going to be quite strange to see Miz without his manager, but he does have the Miz Taraj and Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Basically, two talents that are still trying to get the limelight, even though their time has dwindled away in the WWE. And you got Jason Jordan, who is allegedly the son of Kurt Angle. This is all storyline, folks, so quote-unquote son of Kurt Angle. And this is basically a battle of dignity and honor when it comes to Jason Jordan. For The Miz, it's just proving that he is the best. He is capable of holding his kid and make sure he's there for him in his life, so he keeps on teasing Jason Jordan about how his father wasn't there. And Miz, you heard it over and over again, is one of the best heels I have seen in WWE. God forbid he switches face. I think a lot of people would pull out the barf bags if he did. Well, we're just getting too ahead of ourselves. So I'm going to say it's going to be a short match. I don't want to see an upset, so therefore I have The Miz retaining the IC title. So this is what I consider one of the matches for here on out where I'm going to rant a little bit, and it is fair share in my opinion. I'm entitled as sure as you guys are opposed to your opinions. So for the Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, Emma, and the champion, Alexa Bliss, in a 5-way dance. And you don't have to be pinned or submit. You don't have to be the champion to get pinned or to win the title on this one, folks. But I have high potential in Nia Jax, because I'll tell you this, I'm sick and tired of Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss flip-flopping the title to each other, playing a game of hot potato with it. Alexa Bliss, one of the premier title holders in the league right now, and she has that good heel mentality. She interacts with the crowd real well, taunting them, and that's what a heel does. And a lot of people get butt hurt when heels insult the fans, but that's what they do. That's the part of their job, and Alexa Bliss does it really well. It doesn't make me cringe when she's on the mic. She's a real master at it. She knows what she's doing, and she has been a good title holder. I just wish they haven't flip-flopped the title from her to either Sasha Banks or Bayley, because I think if she would have held it for a solid 6 months, that would have solidified her stance in the WWE Women's Division. But unfortunately, I see her dropping the title to Nia Jax. These two had a feud. They used to be friends, yada, yada, yada. So now they're going up against each other. But I have high potential in Nia Jax. Her ring work needs to be polished a little bit more, but her presence is rightfully known in the Raw shows. Bayley's coming back after sustaining a shoulder injury. I mean, it's a good thing she's back, but a lot of people say otherwise. But this is a young superstar right there fulfilling the dream, and I think her time away from the title could do her a lot of good and could possibly change her character a little bit. Hint, hint. Sasha Banks, her time is done. Okay, for the rest of the year, have her as, I don't know, a jobber or whatever. I mean, a lot of people are growing bored of it. I'm just growing bored of her flip-flopping the title yet again, and she doesn't get a fair share. So come 2018, this could be her year. And the other standalone wrestler who I'm sick and tired of seeing all the time is Emma. This is a woman that believes that she is hot stuff, when all of a sudden, when she puts herself into tag team matches, all she does is get a rolled-up pin, 1, 2, 3, and she takes the victory, and she starts complaining to the WWE Universe that it isn't her time. She keeps on losing, number one. She has a stale personality, number two, and a lot of people backstage or whatever the politics may be just don't have a fair share into her. It's like she's a sloth. She's slacking. I'm sorry, her wrestling skills isn't that good. If she didn't do that Emelina character a few months back, then she would be among one of the top 5. But now, considering all the superstars that are going to be in that women's title match, she doesn't stand a chance. But she stands as an underdog, unfortunately. I hope her time gets cut real short in the WWE because I don't see the potential into her like I did a few years ago when she came in. So I hope she doesn't win it. If not, it's going to be the whole Carmella Money in the Bank thing over again. It'll be a load of BS, and I don't see her as a title contender, so I hope for the sake of anybody, it comes down to either Alexa Bliss or Nia Jax for the Women's Championship. But of course, I said Nia Jax, and I lock in my answer. And now another person I'm going to rant on for the Universal Championships. It's the battle of the big men. Brock Lesnar, defending champion. Braun Strowman, the contender. Braun Strowman has made a name of himself this year. This was his breakthrough year. Tearing down the Big Show. Tearing down Roman Reigns. All of that. He tore down all the big men, so all that's standing is 2 guys left in contention for the WWE Universal Championship. And I hope to God Braun Strowman gets the job done and finally gets his title. It's his high time to make sure he alerts the WWE superstars that he is the man to beat. He doesn't want to be with anybody. He wants to be by himself. He walks alone, like Batista. So I see him as a monster holding the title for the long run because, let's face it, Brock Lesnar, despite him holding the belt for months, he is not a good title holder for the WWE. Number one, he only wrestles 1 match a month. Granted, this guy came from UFC and he's used to fighting at least once a month or once every 3 months. But when you come to the WWE, the purpose of having the championship is defending it day in and day out and to prove to everybody that you don't have ring rust and you'll do what it takes to defend that title. Getting all these rests then and there, that's fine. But when you do it for a long amount of time, a lot of people are going to turn on you, and I hope Brock Lesnar leaves the WWE because seeing him every week busting promos instead of doing something until the pay-per-view is a little bit weak. I remember back in the days that even before pay-per-view started, the wrestlers that were in that match card would fight. They would talk and they would fight. Whatever happened to that? Brock Lesnar clearly didn't get the message, so he's an overrated superstar, by the least, but his advocate, Paul Heyman, of course, a skillsman at the mic, but overall, Heyman, he has to find himself another Heyman guy. Braun Strowman for the win, and that's how I see WWE No Mercy, because the Frostfather said so, and that's the bottom line.